Now I had a huge discussion with the family to allow me to become an entrepreneur yet again at 40. Once they join a corporate life, they start at par with their peers and essentially have a fair fight. So first one was by choice, other by incident. I said, you are not into sales, you are into distribution. She was selling dreams, right? I have like 35 kids or interns who have joined me at Taiyaar 8 months back. So I've promised all of them ESOPs.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Breaking Uneven podcast. We love to talk shop, uncover the beauty of failures, and play a few games. Today, we have with us the co founder of Taiyaar, Vishal Makhija. After completing his MBA, he worked at Evalueserve in Shanghai, then Bureau in Dubai, Stigmoid in the US, Arab Easy back in the UAE, and then Super Procure in Gurugram, India. After the age of 40, he then decided to become an entrepreneur and launched DRUT in 2018 and finally Taiyaar earlier this year. So, Vishal, I hope we haven't missed anything noteworthy from your journey so far.
No, you have covered everything, Anush. I'm really impressed. Good LinkedIn research.
Exactly, right? LinkedIn
Yeah.
helps. Cool. So, we're just going to play a quick little game to understand Taiyaar a bit more.
Amazing. So we'll play the Twitter pitch challenge. Twitter is known for its 280 character limit on every tweet, which sometimes makes it a little difficult to convey your thoughts. It takes about 20 seconds to speak 280 characters. So we want to transfer this challenge to you to explain to us Tayyar in 20 seconds, but we won't make it easy. We also want you to use one emoji and one hashtag in your tweet. Any questions?
No, I got it. When is the timer getting started?
Perfect. So I'll give you a countdown.
Okay.
Um, Three, two, one, go.
So Taiyaar is a marketplace, talent marketplace, where we identify hidden gems across the world, even in the smallest cities, and then essentially tie up with the right people who need them, uh, based on A, what the client require, and B, what these candidates love to do, right? So that's what is Taiyaar. Emoji, right? Yeah, job emoji maybe. I'm not that creative when it comes to that. And uh, symbol, a symbol, a grow symbol like this.
Okay, and a hashtag.
Oh, hashtag. Yeah, Tayyar, Tayyari Kaam Ki.
Okay, perfect. So you did go over 20 seconds by quite a lot actually, but I really like the fact how you mentioned that it wasn't only finding jobs for these people, but also something that they enjoy doing and something that they want to do. So like that is really I think the essence of the year as well, and just where we are right now in the world. Everyone's trying to find some sense of like fulfillment outside of just like doing the work. So it's nice how you're also catering to that. But yeah, let's go a little deeper into your journey before we reach there.
Mhm.
So,
So Tayyar, yeah,
go for it, Vishal. Go for it.
okay, cool. So, I've been in corporates and I've traveled all over the world. I had those corner office jobs managing huge teams, right? And my batchmates have unicorns, right? So now I had a huge discussion with the family to allow me to become an entrepreneur yet again at 40. And what I really wanted to do at this stage, right? When you use this stage, all your corporate journey, whatever you want to do, you have done that, right? So at this stage, I wanted to do something which obviously makes money, but at the same time should be able to give me that satisfaction deep inside. And I come from Prayagraj. It was called Allahabad earlier, so it's a small city in UP. And I did my MBA in 2005-7. At that time, nobody essentially wanted to go after MBA and all of that. And I did it from nursing. My written rank was good, so I got through it. But once I joined there and once I went to the Aditya Birla leadership program, what I realized was people from small hometowns, they essentially fight two battles. The first battle is the normal battle which everybody else fight, which is essentially succeeding and doing well in your studies or jobs, etc., which is your normal KPI. The second challenge was essentially getting used to the environment, right? I haven't. So my MBA trip was my first trip outside the city. So I spent all my life in Allahabad and straight I went to Mumbai, that to Narsimanji, and then 1.5 years after that I was in Shanghai doing consulting, right? So you can't change people the way they are, but you have to set in, right? So, but I did that, right? And I know so many individuals who have done such fantastic careers coming from actually very, very small hometown. So but at the same time, if you look into demographics, right? If you look into the CEOs or VPs of all these multinationals, etc., majority of those people are people who are essentially born and brought up in bigger cities, right? People with more opportunities in terms of learning and stuff. And 70% of the population of India lives in small cities, right? So, so what I believed essentially from day one, and I spoke to a lot of guys, what they believed is these people are not getting the right guidance, A, and B, the right way of learning things, right? But post COVID and with AI, now these people have access to these Zooms and apps and all of that, and then with AI you can create a lot of content. So the opportunity was right for me to do something where I think the challenge which I faced when I went to Mumbai or Shanghai, right? These people does not face that. Once they join a corporate life, they start at par with their peers and essentially have a fair fight, right? So that's the entire concept of Taiyaar, identifying people, talented people in these small cities, and then figuring out what they are really good at, and then trying to find a job where they can make a career based on what they essentially are good at, right? So yeah, that's a little deeper into the year.
So, Vishal, there's a lot that we want to dissect.
Uh-huh.
I mean, based on what you said, there's a lot to get into.
Yeah, yeah.
I want to go back to the one of the first things you said, which was, the fact that you had to take permission from your family. So, first, may I ask, what does family include? Who all are there in your family?
Yeah, wife obviously, and yeah, I have a son, but wife is a key thing. Well, bro, I've been married for 14 years, right? And I was in sales, so sales life looks very juicy and very spicy from outside. You're traveling all over the world. I traveled to I think 30, 40 countries. I had work permits all over. But at the same time, your family life takes a spin because then you are without your family for a long time, right? And if you want to do something like the year is my last journey, right? After that, I want to retire. So I, so the and the amount of effort which it requires to set up something in small cities is tremendous, right? So yeah, obviously I asked for that permission. Hey, can you give me 1 year? And once she gave me, yeah, then we started off.
So, I would presume that conversation wasn't as straightforward as, "Hey, can I do this? Yeah, sure, go ahead." What was the decision-making process? What was the final thing that you all decided? Okay, you know what, this is worth it.
Oh, I didn't came prepared for these things, but but nice, interesting. Yeah, because these are the actual challenges. See, when you start something, you have done your background work, right? At my age, you know, for the numbers, etc. So these big things are not the thing which sort of hinder your journey, but these smaller things, right, are much more critical. So how we decide was essentially based on KPIs. So my wife and I are same age. She is a best-selling Indian author, by the way. Her name is Aparna Sinha. So she's far too intelligent than what I am. So you can't bluff around with her. So she said, okay, targets, what you will do. Okay, this. What's the status like? And then she get a MIS from me every day. Yeah. But no, she wanted to become an author. So and she's very passionate about that. So and I want to become an entrepreneur. Once you have been in entrepreneurship, you cannot go out. It's very difficult to go out and work back. And she respects that. So it's out of mutual respect.
No, fair enough. And I think like yeah, it's difficult to ever go back, but if we start talking about what your journey was back then, like when you initially started your career, you said you went to Shanghai like soon after your MBA, and you've worked over like 4 or 5 countries and then traveled across like 30 other countries. So like what prompted like these moves to go abroad and work abroad over working in India, or even like moving from one country to the next?
Yeah. So first one was by choice, other by incident.
Okay.
So yeah, my life has been very interesting. It's full of incidents. I have not taken any.
We need to
So in fact,
unfold all these incidences.
yeah. So even my MBA is like that. I come from a hardcore business family, and my father was one of the biggest businessmen, right? And he said my elder son will join business, right? And I had just not to join business. I did my MBA,
Oh,
and
okay.
then yeah, and then I okay, this is a good college, and I got placed. Okay, cool. I never went for placement even there, but after going and with that mindset, I never joined MBA. But when I got placed to Aditya Birla Leadership Program, people said, "Hey, this is good, right? People die for this." I said, "Okay, let me give it a try," and then I started lying, right? Just, and then somebody called me from Shanghai. He was some guys. They said, "Hey, we have opened. Do you want to join?" I said, "Yes, why not?" And then when I went there, that opened a lot of. It gave me a lot of other perspective on how different people think. In Evalisa, we had people from 14 nationalities: Korean, German, Thai, Vietnamese, Chinese, Indians. So that sort of added a lot of perspective very early on in the career. And then I got married in 2009. Aparna also joined me in Shanghai. And then Lehman Brothers happened, right? So a lot of people were left with no choice but to shift to sales. So that's how my journey to sales started. And then I started loving what sales. And my job was field sales. It's hunting, hardcore hunting. So essentially, you have to be with the client, talk to them, and that sort of a thing. So that took me to places, and then I joined Bero after ULSF. So Bero at that time was a startup in Shanghai. Right now, it's globally number one in procurement intelligence. Right? So spent 6 years there, and the CEO was my age. We were both 28 when we were at Bero, and very energetic. He understands only ROI. He gets opportunity to everyone. So I said, "Well, I want to go and travel and start doing this." That he always supported, and the numbers started flowing in. And then essentially I become employable in other roles. People stopped taking me for other roles because said, "Hey, you are good at field sales, start keep on doing that." And that's how all these journeys happen. So it started by accident, then I started liking it, and now I can't live without meeting new people.
Nice. And what has been your favorite city to work in so far?
I loved so I used to love Shanghai a lot, but I was there way back 2008 to 11. uh, but Shanghai was really cool. It was very cosmopolitan. That Shanghai, that era. Then I liked, yeah, obviously everyone liked New York because of speed and thing. And I hustle. I love to hustle, right? So that was good. Uh, and I let me give you a unique city, right? Every city like Basel and Munich and everything is good, but a unique city to really, which I really enjoyed, was Ghana, or
Okay.
a country. So East Africa. Not many people have went to East Africa. I've also been to East Africa, Ghana, Nigeria, all of that. So Ghana I really like because people are very, very, very humble, which and very smart, and at the same time they are calm, very calm. They don't take stress. So you get smart and hardworking and humble people in Ghana. So that was a facility and nightlife and energy and everything is there. So that's the third suggestion. Shanghai, then New York, then Ghana.
So you're talking about the kind of traits of the people that you worked with. You're a sales person for a lot of your experience with sales, right? And historically, there's been a lot that's been said about what you need to be a good salesperson. So, what, in your opinion, would you say are the top three characteristics that a good salesperson should have?
So sales is like sales is different, right? B2B sales is different, B2C sales is different, right? All of the digital marketing stuff. So digital marketing is all about automation and all that. I don't know that stuff. My team does that for me. I am the old sort of a guy, right? So let me tell you B2B because I've done what we used to, and this is something which I used to tell my people. Hey, you're fine. So people used to tell me, my ITC peers and all of that. Hey, I work at FMCG. I said, you are not into sales, you are into distribution, right? You're not going and selling things. Your orders are there. You're just fulfilling that. This is not this is not sales. Sales is essentially what consulting companies do, like McKinsey, PwC, etc. And I was even as a fellow because we are going and talking to. Imagine a situation going and talking to CEOs, or CPOs, or CFOs. You're talking $1 million deals, and you can't show anything. All you will are promising, hey, give me $1 million, and after 7 months I will solve the biggest challenge which you have in your company, and I will give you a PPT worth $1 million. Selling that, right, is really, really challenging because essentially you're selling dreams, right? And it's a consultant sales is does not get closed in a day. 7 months, 8 months, this, that. So the top three things which are required: first thing is perseverance. You have to be persistent, right? If you are closing big deals, you have to be persistent. Second thing which you require is discipline. right? Responding on time, responding just the right amount which you have to respond back to, and just the simple thing of updating MIS, all of that, because the more deals you manage, it becomes very difficult to manage everything in the head. So use systems and all of that. Third thing is strategize, right? And that I think is the most important thing, because what I believe in is, hey, you will not go and try to sell anything to anyone if you don't believe in anything, right? And you know that the customer needs that. So it's not about sales, it's about communication. But right, but you need to go and communicate to the people who actually need it. So my theory of sales is, when I started, it was 99% of the sales is done even before you send the first email out, right? Because if you know who is the right person, right, then half your battle is done. Power score, right? Then what is your business value? If you can communicate that in maybe 15, 29 lines, because a person just get a screenshot, right? If you can scroll through that, if you can get the business value in that screen, that's cool. But at the same time, that message should not talk about, hey, how good we are, what all we have done. That should somehow sort of get reflected into a KPI of the person who is receiving it. So if the person who's looking is a CFO, so then, hey, we can help you control your revenue leakages by 5% and help you, top line with 4%. Let me tell you how. So that thing, and the third thing which everyone misses, right, is personal value, right? People does not give personal value to the person who is buying from you, right? In their pitches, etc. Once they service, they obviously take care of it, but the person should know that, hey, there's something in it for me. And this is as simple. See, if you're going and selling, if you want big money, then you have to go and sell to big guys. Big guys already have everything sorted, so you're going there and saying, hey, do not use your current incumbent, use me, because of a that I'm better than them in terms of service, maybe faster by 10-15%, or cheaper by 10-15%, right? 90% of these deals does not go through. You know why? Because the person who is managing that deal at the end, he will come, and this is sort of not said anywhere, right? These people, you will find that, hey, there are people who are not replying back, who are becoming bottleneck, right? These people are the people who knows that you are providing value but still don't want to work with you, because they have spent 5-6 years working with a vendor, and that vendor, though expensive, though slower, has given him service in a way that his job is still intact, right? He's very, very comfortable with that. He will not switch to you till that time he gets some CV points in his CV. Why? If he works with you, because if he switches a vendor, right, then he does not know whether there will be always a question mark, right? And that may jeopardize his work life balance, his job, or whatever, right? So that personal value thing we have to keep in mind. So let me give you an example. I used to go and tell, hey, right now you're managing 10 people or 15 officers, whatever. With our thing, you will be able to manage many more people, right, within your company. That's a huge personal value for them, because these people also get stuck somewhere, right? So there are different ways of figuring that out, but that is the third thing. Multiply all of that even before you send the email, right? Are you sending the person email to the right person? So if the person is signing authority, then the score is one even before you send it out. Business value, is it in 30-40 words, and is that word pitch giving me a KPI of the person? Maximize that in one, right? Third thing is personal value. Am I touching on the personal value of all the stakeholders who are involved? If you can maximize that, right? And then once you have that pitch maximized, then what I say is, go after the universe who you know. What I mean here is, typically companies or guys, sales guy, they essentially hire people and say, here's the database, start calling. Right? You have to search on that database, right? You have to put filters, because there is a unit of calling, right? A person handling one company will take X number of hours researching, calling, all of that. Why waste that time, right? You only have 12 hours in a day, right? So first thing can be financial filters. I see profitable, etc. If they're profitable, then you can afford. So 50% junk is gone. Then whether they have some sales trigger, like if there's a new person who is the head of whatever you are trying to sell with. If it's a new person, that person typically has budgets or more authority to take decisions, right? These small merger and acquisition can have so many sales trigger. Spell that, put that in an Excel, fill all of them up, then sort them, rank them, and what I've seen from experience, and I've seen companies growing the table, like Bedo from startup to whatever, and Evaluative and all of that. People who follow these small steps as a discipline eventually grow and grow solid. right? And I'm sales seeing so many sales organizations which is just like call center person sending mass emails out. Those things does not work out, especially if you're working if your target audience is limited. In B2C spaces works out because there are trillions of users or billions of users. But in places where your target audience is, let's say, only top 20 companies, top 50 companies, you are spoiling the leads for your future. You're essentially leaking out your future revenue if you don't reach out to these strategically. So sorry, Anush, long answer to this. I'm very passionate about sales, which you can see.
It was a long answer, but I think it was quite, your 3 points were very clear, very distinct. So, I mean, thank you for that because it's not easy to. I know it's a question that can go in many different directions. So to bring that to three specific points, I think you did a very good job of that. And you as a salesperson, when were you the most proud of, something that you were able to sell? Was it, it could be, I'm not talking about the monetary value to it, but just a sales pitch that you're very proud to have completed. What was the story behind that?
Yeah. So I remember there are three deals, right? Very, very close to my heart. Four. In fact, the first deal is a virgin deal, right? You'll really love that because before that, you have that zero score in your sales. And when you get the first deal, a salesman become a salesman, right? And then after that, there was one deal which I signed in Shanghai, right? I was not part of sales, but I created the proposal and everything. And that was Lehman Brothers. I just got married. I knew that I have to get this in or else I have to go back, take my wife back to India. So that was very good and cool. Uh, there were a couple of deals at Barrow, which I'm really, really proud of. Because Barrow, as I said, right, Will was very energetic and he used to explore a lot, right? So we were not into procurement outsourcing, we were hardcore into procurement intelligence. And there we won a really, really big deal in the $5 million plus, uh, which was hardcore procurement outsourcing. And we were not even doing that. I created some proposal, something, and we essentially worked it out and it worked. And the competition was against $1 billion companies, right? The Essentials and all of those. And the client was also one of the biggest client in one of the biggest names in Dubai. So they were smart as people and competing with the people who have been doing this for years. Here is one research company pretending to be added a outsourcing thing, and we were able to get that through. So that was again very, very cool and very good. And the third deal is the one at Taiyaar, right? So Taiyaar, we have a vision. We are trying to do something. We are launching very soon, so I can share more details later. But we had a concept, and we sort of put all of that thing together in an app, and getting that lights out client, right? The first client, believing in your concept, right? That was really cool.
So yeah, getting I guess into Taiyaar, like you started your entrepreneurship journey later in your career. It was like sales for majority of it, and then it was starting something of your own. So at that point, why become an entrepreneur when you're already successful at your job?
Yeah, not many people get it, but sales guys, especially the field sales guys, are entrepreneurs, right? Because field sales guys never go to office. They're not domesticated, if I have to use that word, right? So we never used to do 9 to 5. We were either at airport, hotel, or at home, right? So and trying to sell in sales every company, trust me, every company, even Facebook, etc. They do future sales. You don't have the product, but they go and play, right? So that's the case with everyone, right? So there are a lot of these things like entrepreneurship. Hey, how can change the page, change the product? This that used to come in. But yeah, I the only difference is you love first when you are on somebody else's payroll. You hate first when you are essentially on your own payroll, right? Because you have to give money without waiting for the money. So that's the only difference when it comes to sales. So yeah, so being an entrepreneur from day one, right? So that's how been the journey. We never wanted to do MBA, did it. Never wanted to do the job, did it. And so it's always been like exploring new things and see how things figure out. So with me, it was always like that.
Nice. And like your first stint into entrepreneurship was with your startup, DRUT. So what was it about?
So truth again, the concept was essentially we wanted to become the first sales outsourcing company in the world, right? So after doing so much, it used to pain me when I used to go and so I sold to Google, I sold to right, who are my I sold to a couple of $1 trillion companies, right? So, but the ticket size which I sold was running into thousands of dollars, not even millions of dollars. So it used to pain me that hey, I got their intention, and here I'm talking to the right people who can sell checks worth 10, 15, 2, $3 million, but I'm asking them to sign check worth 50 or $100,000 because that's what we offer, right? I only had that in my portfolio. You buy this, the maximum price of this is so and so, right? So that was one. And second thing, what I realized in while doing sales for 10 years in B2B consultative spaces, sales is also driven by relationships. If people start trusting you, if they start valuing you, then essentially start getting more traction there. So the idea was, hey, can I identify 10, 12 clients who want to sell to the same target audience, and then create a portfolio and go and pitch to them that hey, you have these challenges, this company can solve this company can solve this. So it was like a marketplace for sales. When with that concept started doing it, it went really well. But then I realized that hey, it being consultative sales is always people driven. So hiring really senior people and asking them to travel was a challenge. So then I sort of realized, hey, it's essentially like a middleman. You are not creating a product out of it. So then I switched to this.
So I think if I had to summarize that into one line, it would be something along the lines of, getting the right value out of the people that you're engaging with, is kind
Yep.
of what your learning was. So how did you take that learning into Taiyaar? What did you do with Taiyaar slightly differently in order to get that exact right value from the right people?
Yeah. Cool. So at Taiyaar, I failed at DRUT, right? So I learned a lot of lessons in different aspects, and that's everything which I implemented in Taiyaar. And I did implement it at Ravi's and other places also. The first thing is investing people not based on the degrees which they have, but based on the skill or talent which they have, right? So when I started growth, I immediately hired, because coming from consulting, right? Hire people from XYZ college, give them have this working space and these max and all of that, right? Just end up burning all your cash reserves on things which you could have saved to elongate it, right? So that's one. B is what I realized is, see, and let me be blunt about this, right? India produced digital clerks, right? If you look into any job, if it requires a laptop and you have to press few buttons, it's like digital clerk. But at the end of the day, they are clerks, right? I'm not talking about the strategy, not the top of the pyramid, but the medium and the bottom level. Right? In startup, you require people at the bottom level, right? So there are certain things where you don't require fancy English. There are certain things where you require people actually sitting on a desk and punching on a computer for 8 hours, right? So that's the second thing which I understood, that hey, I don't have to be in Bangalore or in Gurgaon to do this. I still do that Gurgaon. I opened one in, so I started opening offices in UP. Cost is cheaper, all the benefits are there. At the same time, the best thing is here, I haven't faced any attrition so far, because there's nobody who is actually coming and giving that opportunity to learn, right? So, so yeah, so those are the things from, and then obviously managing your finances well. I don't manage, being in sales, commissions, right? All of these things, sales people do not manage finance really well. Let it be. So managing finances really well, which I still can't do, so I've outsourced that. I've realized that hey, I can't do this, let me outsource that, to my wife obviously. And also understanding where you are not good at. So when I was at Truth, or even this has been problem with me in earlier in my journey, because I got leadership position very early in my journey, right? So there you tend to sort of, deep inside your mind, you tend to start believing that hey, you know it all, and then you don't, you try to become authoritative and stuff. You got what I'm trying to say, right? So here, what I've realized, hey, I don't know this thing. Let these guys do it. Like Instagram, I don't know how it works, right? I still don't have an Instagram account. Now I have a company account, so I use it. So I know digital marketing. These are the guys who can do it. Tech, they should be using AI. They should be using this tech stack I use. But hey, let you guys do it. Learn, unlearn, relearn. And last thing, which, so this is the fourth. Let me tell you one more thing here. Let people fail is something which I've learned earlier, because you put a business where you are loading it up with, working capital with high salaries, transportation, all of these things. Uh, the you, deep inside, if people fail a lot, you tend to become a little jittery and little anxious, and you tend to, you know, go start cutting things either internally or people wise. Create an infrastructure or create a business plan which gives you longevity, so that you can give people opportunity to fail. Because when people fail, and once they realize they fail and the reason, then the type of work which they do is tremendous, right? I've seen people grow 17 years, 16 years, people have worked under me, right? So I think giving that opportunity is very, very critical. So long story short, Janvi, it's all about looking to the smaller aspect of things, right?
Yeah.
It's not into the portals and automation, all of that. You can get a vendor to do that. But looking into the smaller aspect and having and communicating that with the team is very critical. So,
So on that note, Vishal, our final question was kind of, what is the future of the year and where do you see it going? But I'm going to twist that a bit to look at the smaller things in life. What is it that you see for yourself in the future, and how is Taiyaar a journey for you to get there?
So yeah, so I want to create. So I have like 35 kids or interns who have joined me at the year 8 months back. So I've promised all of them ESOPs, and four of them essentially are my co-founders. So I am a co-founder at 41, and the others are 19, 20, right? So and they have very high aspiration for me. So I want to give them a platform where they make money and learn and be proud of them. So that's on a bigger picture. Uh, and yeah, so business side, it should be profitable, and actually it should deliver the thing which I have in mind, right? Or which we all have in mind, which is essentially picking up people from small cities and then provided get to provide them with opportunities, not only to get a job. So our value value proposition is not, hey, we help you get a job. No, we will help you get a job and then handhold you for your entire career, right? So that's the bigger thing, because now, after working for 17 years, right, there have been friends who have done my graduation with me, post graduation with me, and I know where they are right now, right? So smaller mistakes which people make essentially end up end up deciding what they will be earning after 10 years or 15 years if you get into the wrong job, if you switch jobs really fast. These are the small mentorship points which you have to provide to these guys, and if you just give them and let them work with the passion which they have, I think they can do well with their careers. So that's where I want to take it to. And it so far we have reached some certain place. We have got a couple of offers. Investor, we have said no to them, uh, because I don't want to commit that mistake which I did at DRUT, getting the product really early. And we are testing POCs and stuff, and so it, yeah.
Perfect. So we want to play with you two lies and one truth. The idea is that you give us three statements from your entire journey so far. It can either be challenges or any accomplishments. One of them will be true, and the other two statements will be false. We have to guess the correct ones.
Okay, okay. Now I'm hating why I used to switch all my Friday calls with each other fun activities, because I'm not prepared at all. What is
Fine.
okay? Two lies and one truth, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't watched a movie in the last 10 years. Okay, and then I have partied with presidents of countries in East Africa and all of that. So two. Third is I love my wife.
Oh my God.
Okay.
The two lies and one truth. I hope you know that.
Huh?
Two
Two
lies and
lies.
one.
Oh, uh उल्टा हो गया. I should take these Friday sessions यार. ठीक है.
No, that's okay. So
हाँ
we have
तो
to get
तो
we have
एक कर देते हैं. Let me switch that. I hate my wife. Okay, now you get it. Okay.
to. I would say the truth is that you've partied with the presidents in East Africa.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with that.
Yeah. And it's very easy. Africa, you go. You're treated like king.
Nice. I'm really not thinking of making a trip there. They're calm people, no stress. I need that in my life.
Only Ghana. Just go to
Ghana.
Ghana.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
And the
Cool.
chocolate, so it's a win-win
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah, yeah. Ghana is the biggest producer, one of the biggest producer of cocoa
Coco,
Yeah.
yeah.
in the world. Yeah.
Cool. Let's go to our next challenge, Vishal. So this one's called red flags. And basically, we are going to give you three situations. In each situation, there are two things that are going well and one that's not so well. So two green flags, one red flag. And basically, after listening to all nine statements, you have to tell us which situation you'd rather be in. So, situation one, Taiyaar is training talent from 80% of small cities across India. Taiyaar has 50 plus employees, and however, people trained at Taiyaar are unable to break the barriers of larger MNCs. That's situation one. Situation two is people training people trained by Taiyaar are getting jobs in the big metropolitan cities of India. You've just raised a very good round of funding, but you have been unable to travel outside of India for 2 years. And situation three is that Tayar has partnered with the local state's skills development arm. Tayar is able to upskill 20,000 Indians this year, but you need to leave Tayar because your family needs more of your attention. And yeah, you need to tell us which of these three situations would you rather be in.
Obviously, situation number three, right?
Okay, very, very uh, strong preference. Why is that?
Uh, so I haven't even looking at the green ones. I look at the red one. The family comes first, right? And yeah. So obviously, I have a son and I have a wife, and they need me. So I have to. I will leave everything and go. And that's the reason I have like five co-founders with me.
Yeah, so let's play the rapid fire. It's self-explanatory. Um, Quick answers and short answers. So first,
Okay.
how many days of leave have you taken in the last year?
Zero. In fact, 10 people, interns, and me have not stepped out of office in the last 1.5 months.
Oh
So we are
God.
staying working at office.
Oh, you've been staying at the office.
Yeah. So you have the
Interesting.
luxury in small cities where you can have gardens and all of that. Yes.
Okay. What is the scrappiest thing that you've done to build your business?
Going and asking money.
Did you ever question whether it was worth it?
Always. Every entrepreneur questions that.
Emotion when you first fired someone.
Yeah, I'm a hard guy. It's very difficult for me to 5%, so obviously I felt low.
The weirdest place you've worked from.
So as I told you, I have spent half my life in airports, and you know, and then in airports sometimes get really, really crowded, and lounges are far away from your terminal. You have to take that call. So I've taken calls from restrooms in airports.
See, Johnny, I told you, I told you, even
Yeah.
in our previous recording, I think someone mentioned, I think
We had one founder say that he's worked in the bathroom of airports, and then last week we had them say that she's worked at airports. So we were questioning whether it was like at the bathrooms are not allowed. Yeah, here. So it's our recent theme. Um, but yeah, your proudest moment with the year so far.
So when my kids, so let me, there are so many proud moments. There are proud moments every day. If you watch our Instagram page, we see, all the content and everything. You'll see these glimpses of guys, right? These are all 18, 19 years old, by the way. But the proudest moment was, so when I started off the year, I already spoke to three big clients, right? And I knew that, hey, if they give me their business, everything will be sorted, right? I worked with a client who was essentially the friend also, and he was a friend. So we thought about this idea, saw there was a tool, and we were working together. And then he introduced me to the team. I presented to CIO, CPO, everybody see in this company, right? And then after 6 months, they came up and say, "Hey, sorry, we cannot take this service." And it was not because the service was bad. It was said we want to develop this in house, right? So it was I was feeling very, very low, and I communicate everything with these guys because the entire idea is to for them to learn is to essentially know everything, how business happens, or the ups and downs. So there was this intern who's 19 years old. He was also my co-founder, Kishan. So he came and said, "Sir, why are you sad?" I said, "Nothing." I haven't told him, but he saw the message. He said, "Sir, you should be proud that we made a $2 billion company jittery, and they fear that we will take over their business, and hence they don't want to give back to us, right? So we are competing with a couple of $1 billion company." So that essentially, immediately changed the mood of the entire team, and I said, "Yeah." So BA, BCom, first year, second year students from Prayagraj, where we don't even get laptops. I outsource all my laptops from Gurgaon and Bangalore. So beating a $2 billion company, making them jittery. So that was cool. So that was the proudest moment at Taiyaar.
That sounds really cool. What was your biggest sacrifice to make Taiyaar possible?
Yeah, spending time with our family. So I travel.
Fair enough. Your biggest fear?
It it may not work, right? That's the fear part of it. So every entrepreneur feels that fear, right?
Yeah. Which hobby of yours did your work kill?
Painting,
Uh, do you prefer books or podcasts?
a podcast. My
iPad or
wife's an
not?
author.
Yeah, you're not gonna get a good reaction for that.
Yeah,
iPad or notebook?
iPad.
Uh, are you a morning person or a night person?
Very early morning person. Now,
And and your favorite social media platform?
I'm I'm not in any social media. I'm only in this because I have to
LinkedIn.
be there. That's because my team manages that because
Okay,
I have to be there. I'm a sales guy, but yeah.
fair.
See, when you're married for 14 years, when you have kids, when you have this, you don't get time for all of these things. So it's not that I hate that; it's just that I don't get time enough to
Yeah.
essentially. Yeah.
Fair enough. But yeah, that concludes the rapid fire segment, bringing us to
Thank
the
you.
end of our conversation. But before we let you go, we always ask our guest to ask our next guest a question. So first we'll ask you what our previous guest asked, and then you have a chance to ask our next guest a question. So your question is,
Would they rather fight 100 duck-sized horses or one horse-sized duck?
Uh, See, I'm a 5'4" 54 kg guy. Right? I would like to avoid both of them, but yeah, the second one is I will prefer the second one.
okay, sounds good. But thank you so much, Vishal. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you and learning more about your journey. It's been incredible to see like where you've started from and where you are currently. And there's so much more for Taiyaar to come and do. So looking forward to seeing where Taiyaar goes as well. And thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Anvi. Thank you so much, Anuj.